Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today we're going to make a rhubarb pie. Now, I never make just plain rhubarb pie. I don't think most people do. Depending on what's in season, we have a choice of what we're going to add to the rhubarb. You can use strawberries. Many people do like the strawberries. You could also do cherries. But my favorite is raspberries. Now, they're not quite in season anymore this year. These ones I've had frozen, so they're a little bit broken up. And secret to freezing things that you want to come out separately, like berries or pierogies or anything like that, is freeze them on a cookie sheet and then put them in the bag. So first thing we're going to do is make our pie dough. To start our pie dough, we want obviously all-purpose flour. And it would depend on whether you're doing a single crust or double crust, or if you want to do a lattice top. And believe it or not, a lattice top takes the same amount as a double crust, because you're essentially doing a double crust and then cutting the top crust up. So that's 2 cups of flour. What? About 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, just a pinch of salt, a tablespoon of sugar. Mix those together well. And we're going to add about 1/3 of a cup of shortening. I'm going to just chop it up a little bit. Use our pastry cutter. And we want this to come out as like small sized, like small pea sized balls of shortening mixed in the flour. I'm going to start mixing this with a fork, and we will go into it with our hands. So I have a 1/2 liter of very cold water here. I'm not going to use all of that by any means, but that's just a way to tell how much I'm using. And the secret with pie crust is don't overwork it and keep everything cold. You want your shortening to be cold, you want your water to be cold. And if you have warm hands, find a family member or a friend who has colder hands and get them to mix it. Or run your hands under cold water for a bit. Okay. That's good. Now once you've managed to get it to form into a ball, mine's a little bit sticky. Okay, added a touch too much water, but that's okay. What we're going to do is put it in the fridge for a couple of hours and let it firm up. And of course when we roll it out, we will be rolling it on floured board. So just as soon as you have it into a nice ball, get some plastic wrap. Mine always tends to hold up on me. A piece of plastic wrap. Put your ball of dough in the middle and wrap it tightly. And then we're going to refrigerate that for a couple of hours. So to make our filling, we're going to take our rhubarb stalks. We're going to trim them up. Slippery knife just in the peel and just pull it down. And anything that looks suspicious, just peel it off. An easy way to peel rhubarb is just get your knife in the edge and then just run it down the length of your stalk. Just like that. Leaving some of the skin on the rhubarb stalks. And that will help with the pink color in our finished dish. So then we're just going to chop our rhubarb up into about 1/2-inch pieces, maybe a little less. Alright, now that our pie dough is well chilled, we're time to roll it out. So just lightly flour your surface. Now I'm going to make a double crust pie, so half of our dough, or slightly less than half actually. As it is a bit sticky, we're just going to flour that a little bit as well. Make sure it's well floured, and then flatten it a bit. So then, now I'm using a marble rolling pin. The flour doesn't stick well to it, but you do want to put flour on your rolling pin as well. Fold it in half, put your pie plate there, and drop it in. So I have 4 large stalks of rhubarb. They're about 2 feet long. About 2 cups of raspberries. And these are very juicy fruit, so how are we going to stop them from making just a big puddle in the bottom of the pie and having all the fruit juice run away when we cut the pie? In this bowl, I have 2 tablespoons of just all-purpose flour and a cup of sugar. Of course, you are going to want sugar in this because raspberries and rhubarb are both very tart. And then we're going to crack in 1 egg and just mix it all together. Right. We are going to add this mixture into our fruit. And then just gently combine them all. Everything mixed in. And we're going to pour this into our pie crust. There we are. And then you need a nice sharp knife, and we're going to cut away some of the excess because there is far too much. Now we're going to do our edges, and I just do them between 2 fingers and thumb and crimp them, crimp like so. Just roll the crust under and crimp with your fingers. You could use a fork or whatever the method that you prefer to use. And then, now you could always do the cuts when you have the pie crust folded in half and then you know it's in the center. That's assuming that you actually get the center in the center of the pie. But sometimes the cuts don't work well when you do it that way. You do want to make some slits in the pie crust to let the steam out. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a big dome. only thing left to do is give it a little bit of an egg wash. Alright, now that we've got our pie made and brushed with an egg wash, it's going to go in a 450-degree oven. After 10 minutes, we're going to turn that down to 350, and then it's going to take another 40 to 50 minutes. So you really need to wait for the pie to cool completely to cut it, or you get this. But who doesn't like warm pie? Once it's cooled, it will cut beautifully and the filling will stay in place. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Try the recipe. I hope you love it as much as I do. And hit that like button. Subscribe. It's free. Click on the bell icon and you get to see whenever I put up a new video, which is midnight every Sunday. So I'll see you again soon with a new video. Thank you so much for watching.